right now, and got a couple of things to do, and then it'll be your time. So bear with us.
Take your time.
Thank you for coming. Okay, so I am going to call the regular meeting of the Temple City City Council to order, July 21st, 2020. Just a reminder that those who are calling in, your microphone will be unmuted during public comment and when public comment is open during an agendized item discussion. You can also email your request to speak to our city clerk at cityclerk@templecity.us. You may do that now and indicate on the subject line the item you wish to provide comment. So Madam Clerk, if we could have roll call, please.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Mann?
Here.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Here.
Councilmember Vizcarra?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
I'm here.
Mayor Chavez?
Here. Okay, and if you'll all join me in the invocation. Holy Father, thank you for the many blessings that our local community has. I pray for those who are in office that govern this community and county and state, and that they make wise and godly decisions, which are always in the best interest of the community. God, please bless the men, women, and children in our city and all those who put themselves in harm's way, like law enforcement, firefighters, and our doctors, nurses, and healthcare providers. God, please protect those who provide our goods, foods, and services to us and to their families. I am so thankful that we have all of these, and in Jesus' precious name, we pray, amen. Okay, so if we can please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. There's our flag provided by our city clerk. And so if we're all ready, place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you, guys. Okay. All right. So we will now move on to item number 5 on our agenda. I don't know that I would necessarily call it a ceremonial matter because it's probably a little bit more than that, but I'm pleased to welcome to our meeting tonight. She's kind enough to join us virtually, our state senator, Susan Rubio, who, as we all know, represents the 22nd district. And before I turn the microphone over to her, I just want to remind everyone that as we know, last year, the senator authored a very important piece of legislation for Temple City, excuse me, Senate Bill 324, which was signed by the governor last year. And as we all know, this bill has now allowed for the city to use previously unspent funds in our landscape and lighting district to make needed public improvements on city streets, medians, and our urban forest. This legislation has allowed the city to free up over $350,000 of annual general fund expenses that previously subsidized the landscape and lighting district, and has allowed for the previous unfunded project to move forward, including energy efficient street light improvements and other infrastructure projects throughout the city. And of course, we did not know that at the time, but obviously with what we're involved in now, every dollar counts, and we're even more thankful for what you've done for our city. So again, join me in welcoming our state senator, Susan Rubio. And without further ado, Senator, I'll turn it over to you. So welcome.
Thank you so much for that introduction. It's always an honor to join you. So Mayor Tom Chavez, Mayor Pro Tem Vincent Yu, and everyone else, thank you for allowing me to take time of your busy schedule tonight to just reconnect, say hello. I know these circumstances are very difficult, and I wanted to recommit myself, let everyone know, not only those on the dais, the leaders of our city, but anyone listening through virtual means. Our office is still open. It's been very active, and my staff is always able and willing to help in anything that we can. I know that these are very difficult times, and I want to say, as a former council member and being on the dais for 13 years in the city of Baldwin Park, I know that your council works late hours, they work on the weekends, and sometimes your constituents don't get to see that. But I wanted to thank you personally, because I could only imagine that COVID-19 has made your job a little bit more intense and probably requires a lot more time away from your families. And so thank you. I want to thank you personally. But I haven't had the opportunity again through the circumstance to stop by, but I wanted to congratulate your newly appointed council member, Fernando Vizcarra. And as soon as I'm able to be there in person, I promise you that I will go recognize you. That's what I do generally, but I didn't get this opportunity this time around. I'm sure that you're going to be a great addition to the council, as they've already appointed you. And so thank you. I just want to, again, make myself available to you as well. But I know that I didn't have an opportunity to also recognize the outgoing former council member, Nanette Fish, and I wanted to thank her also publicly for her service and her tireless dedication to the residents. And so with that, I wanted to share that I wanted to give you a big update on some of the bills and things that are happening in the state. But I do know that your community is probably waiting to speak and hear you and listen to your city issues. So I will wait until I'm able to do so in person and give you a presentation on all the bills that we're working on. But I did convene a meeting with all the city managers in the 22nd Senate District this morning. I was able to break down a lot of the bills that are coming your way and that will pertain to your city. They're either going to be beneficial or perhaps a little bit more difficult, but I wanted to make sure that your staff knew some of the bills, not necessarily mine, but I wanted to ensure that going forward, your city manager was able to convey those bills and how I was able to be helpful this year. Again, please know my office is absolutely available for all of you. As I'm sure you're getting calls in record numbers. Our office, one of the biggest issues, again, is the unemployment insurance has been very challenging. It doubles and triples almost consistently. And we continue to walk residents and constituents through the process, help where we can. We connect with the Office of Unemployment directly to try and mitigate some of the stress and just worry that some of our families are feeling. So thank you so much. I want to also, I know that we have council member Cynthia Sternquist. I wanted to offer my condolences. I know you just lost some family members. So please know that I was thinking about you, and I want to make sure that you know that my heart is with you. So Mr. Councilmember William Mann, and I'm almost going to conclude, but Councilmember William Mann and I think I've mentioned all of you. Again, I want to say thank you so much for what you do.
Well, thank you very much, of course. And or do any of the council members have any questions for Senator Rubio? No? That must mean you're doing a great job, I guess, since we have no questions.
I just want to reiterate that, Mayor, that just want to really reiterate our gratefulness to Senator for what you have done for the city. It really helped us out in this difficult time.
Oh, thank you. And as we continue to move into uncertain times and this situation continues to be very mobile and it's hard to keep up with the need, please know, again, I'm here to just remind you, my office is still here. I'm still here. For anyone listening at home, I'm really dedicated to trying to make sure that my office is always available. Your calls are answered. And really wanted to thank this council because I know that you are working even harder during these days. And I know personally how it is. So you have my respect and my thank you. And for the newly appointed council member, please reach out. I'm always happy to take your call.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for all that you do, and always being available to us. And so we do really appreciate that. Just on a personal note, I don't know if you know that I went to Sierra Vista High. Do you?
I did not know. So
Yes, I am a Sierra Vista Don graduate. And Sierra Vista, for those of you who don't know, is in Baldwin Park. So yes,
well,
many years ago. Probably before you were born, I would imagine.
Probably, but I want to share a fun fact. You know, as many of you know, I've been teaching for a long time. I was a full-time teacher, and Sierra Vista was one of my first jobs. I taught high school English, so it was in Sierra Vista. So there's a nice connection. So
there you go. There's that connection.
And I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm so thankful that you always take my calls and you invite me to join your council meetings. But anytime you invite me, I will be there.
Well, thank you very much for that. And by the way, my wife, Jane, says to say hi as well. So thank you.
Oh, please say hello to her as well. And thank her for what she's doing. I know she does important work.
Well, thank you so much. And stay safe, stay healthy. Yes, go ahead, Cynthia.
Wanted to tell the senator that she has such a lovely staff also. Susan, you know how much we think about, think of you, but your staff is always so wonderful too. So please pass that on to them.
I sure will. Thank you for acknowledging them, and thank you to my staff if they're listening. I know they work really hard. So I appreciate your comments, and I'll let you get back to the business of the city, and stay safe, and I will see you soon.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yes, thank you, Senator.
Oh, okay. We will now move on to item 6, public comments on items not listed on the agenda. I will start by asking our city clerk if there are any email requests to speak.
No, Mayor, there are no email requests to speak.
Okay. Do we have anyone on the line?
No public callers.
Okay, so then I will go ahead and close public comments. Next item will be our consent calendar. Before we move on to the consent calendar, Mr. Cook has some clarification, I believe, on item C of the consent calendar. So Mr. Cook?
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. Very briefly, this item is very important because this will allow us to receive Measure W funding, but also apply for outside of our direct allocation funding for projects. One of those projects we're going to look towards is some of the expenses for urban runoff and stormwater runoff for Primrose Park and other projects as well. So this is a routine item, but it has far-reaching applications. So I just want to make sure that was clarified tonight. And on Friday, the standing committee of Mayor Pro Tem you and Councilmember Mann will be looking at some further steps down that line. Mr. Matsumoto will be presenting along with our architect and others some of those things that will be some of those key elements and how we can probably plug even more funding in possibly to make the project move forward in its reality from just the concept to an actual park. And so that's just wanted to clarify that one point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as we know, all consent calendar items may be approved in a single motion as recommended, unless removed for further discussion. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Unless there's any objection, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Councilmember Vizcarra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem you?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, we will now move on to item number 8, public hearing. There is none. Item number 9, unfinished business. There is none. We will now move on to item number 10, new business, an overview of temporary emergency action related to the continuity of city services and personnel and request for direction. So I will turn that over now to our city manager for presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez, and members of the council. I think temporary is the wrong wording and for this event at this point. This is an ongoing event. But thank you again for allowing us to do this. Without these measures, including the admin leave and others, it would be very, very difficult for us to safely operate, serve the public, and do it in a safe manner. So again, it's not a direct expense. It's a balance sheet issue that plays out at the end of the year, but nothing of a direct appropriation. And it's something we'll be doing until really this event really starts to settle. So we thank you, but it's just another check-in with you on this, and I'm here for any questions. You're on mute.
It had to happen at least once tonight, right? Okay. All right, Councilmember Mann, any questions? No questions. Thank you. Councilmember Sternquist?
No questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Vizcarra?
No questions.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
No questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions either. So I will open up public comment. I'll begin by asking our city clerk if there are any public comment emails on this item.
Mayor, there are no email public comment requests.
Okay, and do we have anyone on the line that wishes to speak on this matter?
Mayor, there are no public callers.
Thank you. Okay, I will then close public comment and we'll end up by any final council questions or comments. Are there any questions or comments by council? Not hearing any. I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor Chavez, I'll move that we direct the city manager to implement paid administrative leave for the period of August 11th, 2020 to September 30th, 2020 for all employees except for senior recreation leaders and recreation leaders who will be paid for time worked only.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any objection? Hearing none, could we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Councilmember Vizcarra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, we will now move on to item number 11, an update from our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. I'll be brief. Senator Rubio spoke of the meeting she had today with the city managers of her district. And what she was updating us on is a menu of housing bills. She was appointed to a committee by the Speaker Pro Tem of the Senate, Atkins, to address the issues that came out of SB 50. With that being said, she's going to be authoring a couple of bills that SB 899 and SB 902. We will be providing you with some analysis on that as well. The idea was that SB 50, at which this council unanimously, with Councilmember Fish at the time, unanimously opposed. What came out of there is a working group that the senator was on, and she briefed us on that today. And so we'll be coming back with a report shortly to give you the menu of legislation that's out there and what those impacts are. And if the council wishes to either vocalize either some support or opposition to some of those pieces of legislation. The concern she expressed to the group is that Senator Wiener was ready to reintroduce SB 50 again. And the concern was that there may be legislative support, including possible support by the governor. And this is a compromise approach to SB 50. So we'll come back with some of that information later. Today also too, we had our call with the Sheriff's Department. Crime, as you know, from the weekly report that you received from our dedicated deputies, is lower throughout the city. Our part-run crimes will go lower than even they were last year, which was a record 5-year low. Countywide, that is not exactly the case. Grand theft autos, property crimes, some violent crimes are up throughout parts of the county. The other issue that popped up today, and it was discussed at the Board of Supervisors, was a voter initiative that would be considered in November that would divert funding from law enforcement and from the DA's office to other programs. There is some concern expressed by the sheriff about what that would mean. Until that is fleshed out, we'll report back to you. But that is going to be a voter initiative that would be on the November ballot. Next week, I'll be able to report back. We're making progress on the residential rental subsidies. A lot of people, a lot of interest initially, and then when it somewhat winnowed down when you had to give some information to make sure we're properly dispersing these funds as well. Same thing on the commercial side, but we're making progress on the residential side as well.
I'm sorry, real briefly, have any monies actually been dispersed yet?
No, we're hopefully within the next couple weeks, we'll be able to disperse those funds first to the rental, because that's the easier check that we were able to do.
All right, thank you.
And I believe that's it for me.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 12, update from our city attorney, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to just caution that I cannot answer questions on what I'm about to talk about. This deals with the County of Los Angeles eviction moratorium. As we all know, Councilmember Sternquist has been very good about recusing herself from the city's moratorium. And so I don't want to get into any answering of questions tonight that might touch on that and might create any problems for her or for the city. I am happy to take any questions by email or phone call from the other 4 of you if you think this bears on what we're doing at all. Yesterday, it came out that today the county would be voting on a change to their moratorium. And in fact, they approved that change. And what they have said now is that effective July 21st, any incorporated city that does not include the same or greater tenant protections as the provisions of the county moratorium will be subject to the county's terms. It's probably best if I put out an email to you with what some of those key terms are, but suffice to say, the concerns that you have had as we've gone through this process were obliterated in some ways today by the county's action. As I say, we can talk about what it means, but I wanted to make sure you all heard it from me today. The other item before us is a change, coming change actually to the conflict of interest laws that we're going to be talking about in the next couple of weeks. And that as well just came out today. So those are my 2 items. And as I've said before, I'm happy to take questions and comments offline, but to protect your process, I would rather not do it right now. Thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll now move on to item 13. Any council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings? Are there any? I didn't think so. We all know that we do have a meeting, a joint meeting coming up with the school board, I believe. When is that again, Brian? And I think it's in August.
I'll double check the date, but I think it's, Peggy, do you have that on available?
Joint meeting with the Board of Education is on August 6th.
Okay.
Usually set for 6:30 p.m.
Okay, good. Okay, so we will now move on to item number 14. Council items separate from the city manager's regular agenda, and I'll go ahead and start with Council Member Mann.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. Just one thing I wanted to mention publicly is I want to, as all of you know, we recently received a rather large shipment of PPE from our sister city in Hualien County, Taiwan. And I don't remember the total numbers off the top of my head, but I know, Mr. Brian Cook, you've kind of informed all of council as to the number of gloves, masks, a lot of other protective equipment that they've generously donated from Taiwan. And so I just want to publicly thank them for doing so. From a bigger picture standpoint, Taiwan's one of the few countries in the world that has shown a lot of leadership in containing the coronavirus within its borders. It was one of the first countries in the world to implement the measures that we kind of, as a nation, didn't implement as soon as they did. So, but I do want to thank them publicly for their generosity. We were not expecting it, so I know we're planning to write some form of letter of appreciation back. So I just want to thank Mayor Chavez for being willing to spearhead that, being the voice of our council and responding back to them. And I know, I believe Thursday we might try to get a photo op or something that we can send back to them. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Sternquist, anything?
Just one thing. I spoke to Brian earlier today. I received a call from a business owner who was concerned about a couple of things, but I think one in particular was he felt that the city shouldn't be charging I think it's a $40 fee for, now I forgot what it was even for, Brian. What was it for, the $40 fee?
Review of outdoor dining permit.
To get a permit from the city to have outdoor dining. They thought that since they were struggling so much, it would just be nice if the city waived that $40 permit fee. So Brian said that would be something that the council would have to decide. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And then the other was they have I believe it's a large tent where they're doing social distancing, and underneath the tent they have tables and chairs. And Brian, I believe you said that they need to get is that a permit from the county for that, or is that from the city also?
They need to provide us with a site plan, and we've already processed one. We're in the process of looking at another, but they just need to do a very basic site plan. And if they do anything structurally, then we just need to be able to review that and make sure it's permitted properly. But generally the permit is $46 in terms of just this temporary permit that we've been issuing. We've issued it's public information, to the dive at Camellia Square.
Okay. Now I know that this specific place had put up the tent probably before they obviously, got the permit and what have you. Is that publicized somewhere?
We don't have anything public rumors. We don't have anything on the website, do we, right now?
No, not presently.
Did everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we can get more information.
Yeah, it might be helpful if we have a link to, if you want to do outdoor dining, this is the process you need to do. And then that way, we're not trying to fix their problems after the fact. So it might be helpful, but I personally, I don't think we need to charge them the $46, but I don't know how everybody else feels. So just wanted to share.
Is that just a one-time thing, the $46? It isn't per customer or something like that.
One-time fee.
One-time fee.
And And basically that was it. So I just wanted to share what the business owner had shared, and then Brian did call him back, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Brian, about how that conversation went.
So at this point, if the council would wish to discuss the fee issue, it would be appropriate to agendize it for our next meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to suggest, that if I would suggest maybe, since it sounds like, I know that Brian has sent us several emails and we've got information about this permitting process, but perhaps the next meeting we could have it on the agenda, maybe to further discuss it and maybe have more of an update on who's taking advantage of it and what we need to do, and maybe if there are any tweaks that need to be made to that, maybe at least give the council an opportunity to look at that and maybe make any suggestions or hear from our staff as to whether it's working, not working. We'll go from there. So, okay. All right.
And
so,
Brian, curious, has there only been these two that we know that are doing outdoor dining so far?
One approved, one in process, and then the one that you mentioned as well. So three that have one completed and two sort of in process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Vizcarra, anything?
Yeah, I went by the dive because I was curious. You know, you had said that they had gotten a permit, and apparently they're opening at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to do their thing. But I noticed that the ice cream place was already operating outside. Did they get a permit?
The ice cream at Camellia Square?
Uh-huh. The one right behind the dive.
Go ahead, Mr. Reimers, you were going to answer.
Sure. The only ones that have had a permit are Shiki Buffet has applied, and the Dive has applied and been approved. So no, Somi hasn't applied for a permit.
Well, they're in business.
Yeah,
so,
I think
obviously the word's not getting out there.
Yeah, I think they heard the count.
Okay, well, hold on. Before we go too much further, this is not really an agendized item. I don't really want to get into discussion of this at this time. I don't think it's proper. Of course, certainly making comments about what you've observed are fine. That's not a problem. But rather than going back and forth, I think we're getting a little beyond where we're supposed to be. So, so thank you for that, and I'm sure staff will follow up. You know, obviously these are difficult times, and businesses are doing whatever they can to survive. And certainly, I think we've expressed our concern, and we want to do whatever we can as a city to help do that. And so I think now that we're moving in that direction, having this on the agenda and having a full discussion, I think would be helpful. So, okay. Anything else, Fernando?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that just had a comment on one item that we approved tonight, that is the administrative leave. You know, I think it is important that it is not like free money we give away. I think people need to recognize that our city staff is probably our best asset. And I appreciate what the city manager and his staff been doing to continue the service to our public, but approving approving the administrative leave would give him the tool to continue managing his staff in this very, very special time. So I want people to know that, and also want our staff to understand that the council, as you can see from the 5-0 vote, with little question that we're really here to support you. And we want to appreciate what you continue doing for the city. Personally, I talked to some restaurant owners, and they're telling me that it's extremely difficult for them right now. So, and not making ends meet, actually.
Okay, well, thank you for those comments. And as I said, I think for further discussion, and we'll see what we can do to help. Okay.
Right.
I just have a couple of things. I just want to echo Councilmember Mann's comments regarding the Kualin gift. It was very generous, very unexpected, and will be put to good use. Those of you I know, just a reminder, there is a photo op that we want to do on Thursday afternoon. Anybody who wants to can join us at 3 o'clock at City Hall. And I know that staff is putting together, and I'll be doing that as well with them, a thank you letter that will hopefully be signed by all the council to them, and so that we can get that to them. Perhaps we should also in the letter ask them to send us their game plan for how to get over this coronavirus. They seem to have figured it out a little bit better than we have, but that's for another day, I suppose. So thank you.
I think it's
for
called
that.
leadership, Mayor.
Yes, you're correct. It is called leadership. Okay, couple of things. Happy belated birthdays to Councilmember Sternquist and our City Manager Cook, who actually, if you recall, shared a birthday together. And so happy birthday was last week, correct? Last Thursday?
The 16th.
The 16th, okay. So happy belated birthday. I won't ask who's older, but Brian's
older.
Well, Brian looks older, but okay. All right. Well, hope you had a good days, both of you. So, and lastly, I've had several discussions with our city manager, and I don't know, maybe it's a pet peeve that I have about this mask wearing. And, I happen to have the opinion that it is very important for us to wear masks in the public. And I can't stress enough how important it is that we get that message out to the public. I think it's been shown by all studies that even though it doesn't prevent it entirely, it certainly helps. And, however you feel about it, I hope that, contrary to maybe most of the country, it's not a political matter, but more of a matter regarding health and safety for all of us. And I have to say, in driving around Temple City, most people do wear masks. And I think that's a good thing. And I think we should encourage it. I have asked our city manager to modify the message on our message boards. Those of you who've seen our message boards that are set up around the city may have noticed that it reminds people to wash their hands. But I asked them if we could add on there, wash your hands and wear your mask. And so I think we'll be doing that shortly, just to remind those people to do that. I have received several complaints, maybe some of you have also, regarding Live Oak Park and the fact that we have an issue there regarding people not wearing masks and also congregating in groups. And so I know that our staff is never-ending battle with that and is doing a job a good job in trying to control that. But we need to get that message out to people that we want them to enjoy our parks, but we want them to enjoy it safely and for everybody's health. So, and then lastly, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Mayor Pro Tem Yu is going to be receiving an award for public service from the Chinese American Construction Professional Association. And if you recall, they have a local chapter here, I believe, and they've also donated masks to us in the past. And they're going to have their 38th annual ceremony on July 24th. It was actually going to be a live ceremony, but as our times have dictated, that is now a virtual ceremony. So I just want to give a shout out to Vince. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well deserved. Would you like to share with us a little bit more about that, or maybe tell us what that's all about?
I, as a construction person myself, I was once upon a time their member, and they were, I guess they want to recognize those of us who are in the construction industry, who also serve as in public service as well. So they contacted me, and I really told them that I really don't deserve it and save it for other people, but they insisted that I should receive it. So I felt really honored, and honestly, all of you are in public service as well. So I'm really there to receive it on behalf of all of you.
Okay, well,
so,
well,
thank you for
again,
mentioning it.
congratulations. I think well deserved, and you'll have to bring at the next meeting your certificate or whatever else they presented to you, and you can share that with us. So thank you for that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, that concludes my comments. So we will now move on to item 16, additional public comments on items not listed on the agenda. And we'll begin by asking our city clerk if there are any email requests to speak at this time.
Mayor, there are no requests to speak.
Okay, and now we will unmute any microphones. Are there anybody on the line that wishes to speak at this time?
No, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, unless there is anything further, we are adjourned for this evening. So thank you very much. Quick meeting, and thank you for all that you guys do. And everyone stay safe out there. You know, it's more and more difficult, it seems, as we go. And wear your masks. I know you all do. So, all right. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.